Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Tuesday morning over here as we prepare for the end of the month. The end of August, a very fun month, I might add. No, boring as all hell. But the preparations for September about to begin, as I suspect that is going to be the very fun month. Anyways, other than that, I wanted to quickly mention Bybit's promotion, of which they are offering $1,000 deposit for $1,000 in Ethereum position. You can find that in the Bybit link in the description below. Just go onto their site and it'll have all the questions answered right there. But it's the same link as before, just, you know, to avoid some confusion. All right, sweet. Let's just jump into it right now. I wanted to first start off with this chart over here. The big chart, the one chart that we've really been following and harping on for quite a fair bit now, about it's got to be like close to 3 weeks. And it is this, the daily volatility versus stochastic momentum chart. And what are we looking at right here? Well, essentially, the signal has been fulfilled. So the signal was extreme lows on volatility, which are defined by basically these lows on the volatility metric right here, accompanied by the green vertical bars. That, accompanied with the stochastic momentum oscillator's direction, has gotten the correct direction for about almost 90% of the time, of an average move of 23.76% over the course of about 8.5 days, which is essentially what we've seen just now. And the signal is now officially over. We've seen the daily stochastic momentum oscillator cross the upside. So you've seen this setup play out many a time in the past few months, and you've seen it yet again right here. So it's not perfect, obviously, but good enough as far as I'm concerned. And in this case, well, we have seen these statistics actually play out just about, scarily accurately in this case. It's not always going to be like that. There should be some variance, but in this case, average move of almost 24%, well, down to 19,500, that's 23% right there. Not fucking bad. Over the course of, in this case, this was 11 days, so a little bit on the upper end of that, but still within the realm of reason. And so we've seen this signal fulfilled. And so what do you expect after the signal like this is fulfilled? Well, after, as we said yesterday, what you expect at least sideways price action, typically a bounce attempt as well. So on the topic of bounce attempt, let's go over here to the shorter term timeframes and follow up on yesterday's price action analysis. So yesterday we were saying, well, kind of actually this we were looking at potential bullish divergence on the 4-hour RSI. That was confirmed, and an easy target towards the 20,500 so region has been met already. Now we can also observe 6-hour bullish divergence. Again, these are like not anything too crazy to be speaking about. So I do think that there could be a bit of an extension on this current move, but ultimately I'm looking for a range to occur now as 4-hour BBWP, which again we identified yesterday, is going into a contraction phase. So I'm looking for a range. Maybe there's an extremely short-term time frame pullback, on like an hourly. I think that's possible, but I'm not super compelled by short-term price action right now. But probably does try again higher on the short term as well, or short term, medium term, let's say. As far as that goes, I do want to reference stochastic momentum over here, of which starting off with the 12-hour, all of the pivots have been hit essentially that we spoke about yesterday. 12-hour stochastic momentum remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 12,000, sorry, not 12,000, although above, yeah, a little above there too, but 19,900. And we also do observe a bit of bullish divergence on 12-hour stochastic, which I'm not a humongous fan of stochastic divergence, but yeah, it's definitely there between the lows at 21 and our current low at 19.5. If we go down to the 6-hour, same pivot essentially at 19,650. Momentum will remain to the upside for a bit of a corrective play. 4-hour, same fucking thing. If we can load it, 19,900. Momentum remains to the upside for, again, a corrective play. And then hourly is probably going to be to the downside, I'm going to guess. Let's see it. Come on, load me, baby. Yes, he's there or she's there. Who the fuck knows? Maybe it's a non-binary oscillator. I don't know. I don't mean to offend you, stochastic fuck. But in this case, 20,370 or so. So, which by the way, CME is actually operating at almost like $100 discount from spot price action. Anyways, yeah, very short-term timeframes. I mean, like an hourly, maybe see a bit of a pullback. I'm not too compelled by that. But all the other medium-term timeframes, likely pointed towards at least another try to the upside. So coming back over here and looking at ranges, we can look at our Fibonacci retracements, which the areas of interest here are going to be the 382 at 20,950 or so, and then above there we got the 0.5 at 21,700 or so, basically the prior range highs. In this case, I do think we're probably going to test somewhere around the 382, maybe a little bit lower than that in the bottom end of this blue box at 20,700 or so. Anywhere between those two numbers is completely fair game. And then the question is, does Bitcoin close above there or not on a medium term time frame, that being the 382? If it does, I look for the next level to be hit somewhere around 21.7. In my opinion, that's probably best case scenario in the short term, or medium term, I should say. And to the downside, I would be looking at a range lows of about 19,700. So any sort of a break below there, and actually would be looking for, I guess, new lows on this current drop, somewhere down around about 19,000 even or so, give or take. A small number from that. Other than that, what else do we have that I want to get onto over here? So we've got the fib targets. Yes, we've got all of that. And let's now go over here. So we've spoken mostly about short-term time frames right now. Basically, the idea is, hey, probably a bit of sideways, probably a bit of range, probably a bit, an attempt at a rally. The question is, how high does Bitcoin get on that rally? I like 20,950, and then if it gets above there, then 21,700 or so. I don't really have strong opinions on whether it'll do that or not. My strong opinions are on the higher term time frames, of which, when we go to the 2-day time frame, stochastic momentum is still to the downside. We'll talk about why that's relevant soon enough. 5-day, which just closed last night, is also seeing stochastic momentum to the downside, even playing out a bit of a trendline regression rejection over here as well. And the weekly, which closed obviously yesterday, not today, is also to the downside as long as Bitcoin's below 21,500. All right, sweet. So we've seen all of that now. Now let's go into the 2-day time frame. So I wanted to part back on this. So this is the same signal that we saw on the daily over here, but just applied to a 2-day time frame. So basically same setup essentially. But being that it is a 2-day time frame, it is significantly more powerful. And we do have a fully contracted volatility read right here. And well, the thing with this is that on average, once we have seen the expansion phase from those extreme lows, of which we have seen several in the past few years, the average move has been about 39.5% over the course of 3.5 weeks on average. Stochastic momentum also has gone the correct direction on the volatility expansion about 87.5% of the time. And the first day deviation gives us a range between about 32% to almost 47%. So here's the thing. This one will be closing tonight in 13 hours, 54 minutes, and 37 seconds. And as long as the stochastic momentum oscillator remains positioned to the downside, which it will, as long as it's closing below 24,220 on that time frame, well, risk does remain to the downside on the whole. This is not in the short term. This is not in the medium term. Again, I still think probably tries for a bit of a short-term bounce. I mean, it looks like it actually just rallied up there again, short term, so fair enough. But risk remains to the downside as long as as long as it's below that number. Here's the thing: that number will massively change once Bitcoin closes tonight, and maybe gets brought extremely close to current price action. I think that's probably the best case scenario. If that happens, we could be looking at a much greater bounce in alignment with these stats over here. But until that happens, well, volatility expansion from these levels alongside these stochastic momentum oscillators, has been pretty fucking solid. It's not perfect. We're not talking about certainties. We're talking about statistics here, obviously, but it would make me more weighted towards downside continuation into September. Not in the short term. These signals take a long time to play out. In fact, we probably don't even see any real major movement in the first 6 to 8 days of it, just going off of past histories. But in this case, anytime that we have seen the slope of the volatility component change, that has really been where the signal emerges from. Like you can see over here, I'll just put on there we go. Boom, boom, boom. These moves happen very fast after that, or not very fast, but they do happen after that. Typically, and actually they don't happen fast after that. It typically takes about a week before things really start to get moving. And in this case over here, as long as we're downside angled, I do have to represent that obviously as I'm just reading the statistics and probabilities. That's all. But here's the thing: if Bitcoin does initiate that downside move, shaving off on the low end, like 32% off of current price action, or from that where that signal would be born from, that put Bitcoin in the 15,000s, 47%, much lower, obviously. If in the best case scenario, let's say Bitcoin holds sideways here, and then you start to see that flip up, maybe around end of week, obviously tonight, and then Thursday it'll close again. So potentially, again, I'm kind of talking about hopium right now, but if we were to see that move happen to the upside, at that point, you might see a move maybe somewhere still south of 30,000, but somewhere around 27,000 bucks or so. Into September. Now, I am a little bit more angled towards the downside in September, simply because September is generally a bad month for Bitcoin. So, confluences, again, these kind of compound the statistics, obviously. But at the end of the day, I want to see these things confirmed. So until it's confirmed, still just an idea, still just a potential, but that potential is drawing closer and closer and closer. So other than that, I really don't have too much over here. Short term sideways, I think that we're done going down for the month of August basically, and try a little bit of short term bouncies here, and now the real question is, how high does Bitcoin get? So again, short-term areas of interest, about 20,700 to 20,950. Above 20,950 on a medium-term time frame closure, I do look for actually a decent leg up from there, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow. All right, sweet. So that will do it for today. I want to be wishing you the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.